Just over 6 years ago, Chase launched one of the most popular cards that would change the credit card landscape for years to come, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. With its insane introductory 100,000 point sign-up bonus and an annual fee of $450, I was pretty jealous I couldn't get my hands on the card given I wasn't in the US just yet. But now many years later, with a higher annual fee, lower sign-up bonuses, and a ton of strong competition, I think the Chase Sapphire Reserve is overrated and due for a refresh. And one big reason is the lack of credits. In today's landscape, where most cards on the more premium end of the scale have a bunch of credits to help offset the annual fee, the Chase Sapphire Reserve falls short. For example, looking at the Capital One Venture X card, the $395 annual fee is more than offset by the $300 travel credit you get every year and the $100 worth of points when redeemed for travel through the portal. In fact, you're getting paid $5 every year to keep that card open if you're able to use those credits. But here on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you're only getting one $300 travel credit every year to help offset the $550 annual fee. Though it is a travel credit that's the easiest to use compared to the other cards, given it automatically applies for any travel purchases onto your card, regardless of where you booked it from, whether it be travel sites like Expedia, Uber rides, or bus rides like Flixbus. That said, you're still left with an effective $250 annual fee that you'll have to look elsewhere on the card to derive value from. And one place most credit cards get a bulk of the value from are from the welcome bonuses. But even then, I think there are better options out there. Because by hitting the $4,000 spend in the first 3 months, you'll be getting 60,000 Chase points, which is the exact same as on the cheaper Chase Sapphire Preferred card, which only costs you $95 in annual fees, or less than the 90,000 points you could be getting on the Chase Inc. cards. Not only that, but there have been many times in the past where the Chase Sapphire Preferred has been offering 80 or 100,000 points for the welcome bonus, as well as having the annual fee waived for the first year. There is a case to be made that the points on the Chase Sapphire Reserve are worth more, but that's not always the case, and definitely not the case if you're trying to maximize the value of your points. So we have the lack of credits making the annual fee still an effective $250, and a welcome bonus that's pretty low and on par with cheaper cards like the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Then what does spending with the card look like day to day? First, you'll get 5 times points when booking flights, or 10 times when booking hotels and car rentals, both after your first $300 in spend when you book through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal. Now the 5 times on flights here is the exact same compared to the no annual fee Freedom cards like the Flex and the Unlimited, so it's not special. But what's unique is that you're getting an elevated 10 times points when you're booking hotels and car rentals, until you look at cards like the Capital One Venture X, which offers the exact same with Capital One portal, while effectively being a free card given all the credits you're getting. Next, and here's where the reserve still holds strong, and that's getting 3 times points on all travel booked worldwide. And I say that because this is one of the only premium cards out there that offers this level of points for generic travel purchases, but not by much, given the cheaper Chase Sapphire Preferred has 2x in this category, and cards like the Venture X has a generic 2 times points on all spend with no restrictions. And when you really look at it, getting this 1 extra point per dollar for travel isn't actually a big difference. Take the effective $250 in annual fee on the reserve. Depending on how you redeem your points, whether you're going to travel partners or redeeming for cashback, that could be an equivalent of 12,500 to 25,000 points. That means to break even with the effective annual fee, you'll need to spend between $12,500 to $25,000 $100 in travel every year. That is a big difference that I think the majority isn't going to put on their cards, and even if you are, there are probably better places to put that spend, like on new cards and hitting those annual fees for even more points. Now, the 10 times on Chase Dining is an interesting one, because that means you're getting 10 times points on purchases through the Chase Dining portal, which, because it's powered by Talk, there's quite a good selection in major cities. Meaning by booking through the portal, you're getting an equivalent of 10 to 20% cash back depending on how you redeem your points, which is a pretty good kickback on all those fancy meals. Then you get 3 times points when you're spending on dining, including takeout and delivery, which is the exact same on the preferred as well as the no annual fee freedom cards. And then you'll get 1 times points on all other spend, which is lower than the Chase Freedom Unlimited cards 1.5 times back. And so for the extra effective annual fee that you're paying on this card, the only standout categories that earn you more points compared to similar or cheaper alternatives are getting the extra point when you're spending on travel, and maybe the 10 times points when you're booking hotels and car rentals if you value Chase points over Capital One points. Really not that amazing of a trade-off in my opinion. But hold on, one of the major benefits of the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the elevated 50% extra redemption value, or 1.5 cents per point, when you're redeeming for travel through the portal or pay yourself back categories that right now include Airbnb and dining. Now, I personally don't use this method at all because I really want to maximize the value I get from my points, which is done through transferring to travel partners where you can redeem for upwards of 2 cents per point in value or more. And you can do that through redemptions like hotels through World of Hyatt, or for flights, like how I transferred my points over to Aeroplan and booked business class flights over to Asia, valuing my points at upwards of 5 cents per point. And so if that's also your primary way of using these points, then this perk really doesn't matter. Even if you do only focus on cashback and primarily use this redemption method, I still think it's not as great as it sounds. Because one, it's limited to travel only or categories like Airbnb and dining. If we're talking about travel, then transferring the travel partners and redeeming it that way will likely get you at least the 1.5 cents per point, if not way more. And also, booking through third parties like Chase will always add that little extra complexity in case something goes wrong or you need something to change with your booking. Then for Airbnb, I think for most people, this is not a major area of spend. And for dining, I think it's an alright redemption, but I would much rather just pay with a card and earn the 3 times points on dining instead. And these categories could change to who knows what after the deadline has been reached. 2, the cheaper Chase Sapphire Preferred also has this perk, just at a lower 25% redemption value, and doesn't have dining, which again could change. And 3, unless you're spending a lot, the 50% may not be actually that much. Because that means if you're spending on travel, getting 3 times points, that would be an equivalent of 4.5% cashback. If you value your points at 1 cent per point, that's an extra 1.5% cashback on that spend. But to make up the extra effective annual fee of $250, you only need to spend an additional $16,666, which is still quite a lot. And again, spend that could be better put elsewhere. That said, if you do spend a ton on certain categories like Chase Dining or hotels, then yes, it could be worth it in your specific case, especially when you could combine points throughout all of your Chase cards and redeem them through the reserve, elevating the value of all the points you earn on those other cards. So for example, you're earning 5 times points on PayPal purchases in Q4 of 2022 on the Freedom Flex. Transfer those points over to the reserve and redeem through the elevated value, then that 5 times points turns to an equivalent of 7.5% cashback. Whether the extra annual fee is worth it for this method of redemption is really up to you. Now, just like with most premium cards out there, the reserve also comes with a whole host of other perks. To start, there are several partner perks that include extra lift points, Dash Pass, as well as DoorDash, GoPuff, and Instacart credit up until the end of the promotional periods. Personally, other than the DoorDash credits, I don't really find use in the other ones, but if you do, then you could really easily make up for the other effective annual fee that you would be paying. Between the $5 a month of DoorDash credit, $15 a month on Instacart, and $10 a month for GoPuff, that's up to $360 a year of credit that can help offset the annual fee. Then there's travel benefits like getting Priority Pass Select, giving you access to over 1,000 lounges around the world. But that's a benefit that a lot of other cards have too, like the Capital One Venture X, American Express Platinum card, or cheaper cards like the Hilton Ascend, though you'll be limited to just 10 visits a year, which for the casual traveler may be enough. That said, the perk on the Reserve still includes non-lounge benefits like restaurants and spas, which a lot of the other cards have gotten rid of. You'll also get access to the newer Chase Sapphire lounges, but Priority Pass members also get access to some of these, so it's not that special of a perk. Then when it comes to elite status, the Reserve really falls short, because although there was a promotional period where you can get Marriott Gold from the Reserve, it wasn't permanent and you don't get any other elite status. Whereas on cards like the American Express Platinum, you're getting both Marriott Gold and Hilton Gold, which comes with a ton of different benefits, including upgrades, as well as Hertz President Circle, which the Venture X also has, which qualifies you for top tier status on many other car rental companies, providing perks like getting a free day every 5 paid days. However, if you're really looking for the best cards for status, you should go for the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card that will give Marriott Platinum status just for having the card, or going for the Hilton Aspire card that will give you Hilton Diamond, their top end status. Or if you're racing towards airline status, then the Delta Reserve will get you there way faster, or you can get the Chase Aeroplan card and get Aeroplan status. And then when it comes to travel and purchase coverage, it has pretty similar perks compared to the Chase Sapphire, with some little tweaks like slightly different rental car coverage, higher luggage insurance and emergency services, as well as return protection. That said, many of these perks exist on other premium cards that we talked about, except for maybe return protection, because the limit per item on the Reserve is actually $500 instead of the $300 that exists on most other cards. Now, I do think the Chase Sapphire Reserve is a solid card, just one that's due for a refresh, which I wouldn't be surprised by given the upcoming deadlines for some of the perks that are expiring. For example, the pay yourself back categories or the GoPuff credits. When it first came out over 6 years ago, it went viral for its massive bonuses and amazing perks. But times have now changed and competition is strong. In my opinion, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is the better card to get, given its similar perks and sometimes higher welcome bonuses, while still having the ability to transfer points to partners and maximizing Chase point value, while leaving your premium card slot to cards like the Amex Plat that is more feature packed, or the Capital One Venture X card that is a better bang for your buck, or utility cards from hotels or airlines that will get you those status quicker, which is why you should check out this video for the best premium cards to consider going forward. I'll see you over there.